Hi folks, this is podcast number 3, and as usual, these podcasts will always point you directly to our supreme authority, Jesus the Anointed, through his written word, what we refer to as the Bible or the sacred scriptures. I would suggest you begin with what we refer to as the New Testament. It was mostly written by the original apostles or those closely associated with the original apostles. Now, just to remind you that Jesus is the Word, John 1 through 3, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made. That was John 1, verses 1 through 3. And then you jump to verse 14, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of graciousness and truth. That's verse 14 from John 1. So, you're reading the Word, and the Word is Jesus Christ. So, okay, today's topic, without further ado, today's topic is, why are you tithing? Now, there are some mistaken churches, so-called Christian churches, who teach tithing or variations thereof, and it's absolutely not biblical. Okay, so where did God command that tithes be taken? So I'm going to quote the well-known verse, Malachi 3, verse 10. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, so that there may be food in my house, and test me now in this, says the Lord of hosts. If I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you a blessing until it overflows. Now, modern pastors and so-called Christian churches teach that you should send your tithe to them and then you will be blessed. Well, that's absolutely not correct. If you go back to that verse, Malachi 3, verse 10, where was the storehouse? First of all, it said, where did God command the tithes to be taken? Well, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse. So the next question is, where was the storehouse? Well, the storehouse, which was the depository of the temple, was in the temple. So if you look at Nehemiah verse 10, verse 38, the priest, the son of Aaron, shall be with the Levites when the Levites receive tithes, and the Levites shall bring up the 10th of the tithes to the house of our God, to the chambers of the storehouse. So the storehouse was in the house of God, which was the temple at the time. The physical temple building, including the storehouse or the depository, was destroyed in 70 A.D. So you couldn't tithe today even if you wanted to. So now, to whom were tithes to be paid is the next question. They're certainly not to be paid to any modern people. So whoever's telling you that is not telling the truth. Okay, so to whom were the tithes to be paid? I'm reading from Numbers 18, verses 21 and verse 24. To the sons of Levi, behold, I have given all the tithe in Israel for an inheritance in return for their service which they perform, the service of the tent of meeting. And then verse 24, for the tithe of the sons of Israel, which they offer as an offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites for an inheritance. Therefore I have said concerning them, they shall have no inheritance among the sons of Israel. The tithes were to be given to the Levites. That's Numbers 18, verses 21 and verse 24. There's no physical Levitical priesthood on earth today. Pastors, ministers, or priests teaching and collecting tithes are not Levites. They are robbing people. So that's all I have for you today. Tithing is not biblical, and wow. Thank you for listening as always, and I will always remind you of Acts 2:42, to devote yourselves to the original true apostles' teachings. Acts 2:42, they were continually devoting themselves to the apostles' teaching. So those were first century believers who were continually devoting themselves to the apostles' teaching, and I would strongly suggest you do likewise. May God's graciousness and peace be with you all.